Welcome back to the channel, and today I got a treat for you guys because this is my return to the PvP scene. I was gone for almost like 3 weeks or so because I was out for governor school, which is like a schooling program here for people that are trying to advance in their careers. So anyways, though, I am back, and I will say that this is the voiceover, of course, because I needed to get my mic properly set up since I literally just returned, and I actually took my computer with me to the school. It didn't work that well though because the Wi-Fi was not connecting, so I had to use a hotspot, and that's kind of why I just decided not to upload, because it was just taking way too long and I was draining my data, so it was not worth it. But anyways, now I'm back, and yeah, this was definitely quite a debut battle. I wouldn't say debut, but more of a return. And you can see right now with this team, there is really not much structure. I really did not think about it. I just kind of put down some Pokemon I wanted to use. I mean, of course, I did have like a physical defensive Pokemon, or at least two special defensive and two offensive Pokemon. I mean, you could clearly tell that there's some sort of structure, and I try to also use some diversity with my typings, but that's really all that's going on for this team. And before I was actually going to use Crocodile over Landorus, but I was like, well, I mean, I need to have something actually usable. I mean, not saying that Crocodile isn't usable, but it's like, I'm pretty sure it's UU or RU at best, and like the rest of this team is not really that high level, especially since people are using Ubers and OU level Pokemon. So I mean, like, if you want to at least have a good chance, you need to use something half decent. Now, not saying Landorus is gonna carry, but it's still gonna be pretty useful, especially against a lot of the Pokemon in this scene. And right now I'm kind of trying to unrust because I have not been PvPing for so long. It's been almost like a month, close to that. I think it's a week short of that. So you got to give me some time to unrust. So anyways, though, switching out of Landorus there, I wanted to take care of the Galvantula. And one thing I realized too with this team is that there's no hazard control. Now, partly that's somewhat intentional because the way I wanted to see it was that I could set up my spikes, and I wanted to use Skarmory with Whirlwind to really take advantage of that. Now, I might change this set because it's really not the best. Like, I'm sure there's probably a way the opponent can easily shut it down, especially with like taunt. Like, this thing would be cooked. So I definitely got to figure something else out in the future, especially since the rest of this team gets destroyed by entry hazard. Like, it's basically warded with the entry hazards up. So it's so difficult, especially against a team like this guy's, where he has every single entry hazard in the books available except toxic spikes. Like, if he had that, then at that point that would just suck. So luckily he doesn't, but he's got spikes, he's got Stealth Rock, he's got Sticky Web, and it's not really that great for my team. Like, Chandelure and Gallade especially get destroyed by those items. Muck as well. Now, Mantine and Landorus have it a bit better, but it's still not good. And really, I noticed too, this team has way too much flying type Pokemon, so I definitely got to change that out. But I mean, it's alright because I really did not try and like make a team right here. I just wanted to put Pokemon together, as I said. So anyways, while he's setting up his entry hazards, I figured I should set mine up too, because there's a good chance he is not using a defogger. Now, if you had a rapid spinner, that would suck, but I mean, if he has a defogger, then that's gonna void out all his entry hazards, which would kind of defeat the purpose of letting Galvantula go down. So then he'd be 5 to 6, so it's not going to be a worthy trade-off right there. So now that I got everything set up, I actually was not paying attention, so I set up another unnecessary layer of spikes when I could have whirlwinded earlier. But that's still also not so bad, because I mean, once he set up his spikes, his Ferrothorn really could not do anything to me, so I was going to get some additional chip damage right there from the Rocky Helmet. Now, the Milotic comes in, he's got the Flame Orb, so this is not looking good for me, because he set up his entry hazards. He has defensive Pokemon that are going to be difficult to break through. It's not going to be that fun, and he's going to go for a Scald here. Luckily, it's not insane damage. I was actually expecting more. And even like a burn would have been terrible right there, because you're going to see later on that Skarmory is actually key. So I'm so lucky I didn't get a burn, because that would have probably made me lose this game. So anyways, here their Manitan comes out, and I actually had Chandelier there for a reason, because I wanted that flash fire coverage, and Landorus is there for the electric type attack. So right here, I was actually expecting him to flare blitz, but you know, I'm gonna be mistaken, because either he makes the most insane prediction in the world, because he couldn't really see my team. So like, how would he know I was gonna go into a fire type that'd be weak to rock slide? I don't know. Or maybe he was just trying to go for a rock slide there, so he didn't want to take recall. I actually don't know what the vision was there, but that's impressive, because it definitely did shut down my Chandelier and take it out of the picture completely. So kudos to you, man. That was quite the read, if that was a read. If not, then congratulations, you got lucky. But I'm hoping that was read, because that was pretty cool. So anyways, Landorus is going to come out with the Earthquake. I actually did not expect him to stay in. I was going for the Earthquake, expecting something like Milotic to come out, but he's going to sacrifice the Darmanitan. Definitely fatal mistake right there, because you're going to see later on in the game, Darmanitan would have been absolutely, you know, dangerous. It would have been insanely deadly against my team. So that's really, really beautiful right there. So now the Milotic is going to come out. I don't want to have any business with this big dog, especially since, you know, it's got Scald. It probably has Ice Beam, so I'm not trying to play around. But luckily, I do have my Mantine here, especially suited to take care of Pokemon like Milotic. But it's really good typing. It's like Milotic, I mean, other than Toxic, it really can't touch Mantine. So he's actually going to go for the full-on Dynamax right here. Definitely crazy. I actually do not have access to Dynamax right now. I don't plan to get access to it. So ideally, I prefer the competitive scene with just Mega Evolutions and Z moves. And hopefully, you know, there can be an update to include that. So his Water move is actually going to be warded out by my Water Absorb, which is awesome. And he can't actually heal himself either. So he's in a bad situation with the burn and me going to be able to go for Air Slash, because once you Dynamax, I'm pretty sure, I actually don't know if you can heal. Maybe you can, but I'm pretty sure you can't, because your moves transform into something else. So definitely not the best move right there. I personally would have not gone for Dynamax, and I would have saved that for Dragonite actually. So anyways, here I'm going to predict the Dragon Dance coming out. I'm going to show him you can't do that in front of Mantine with this beautiful haze, which is going to shut him down completely. And now I'm probably going to want to go in the offensive here. I don't really know why I went for Air Slash. In hindsight, Scald would have really gone the distance, especially if I could have got a burn. Like, that would have been so useful, but you know, I wasn't thinking ahead. But I was thinking after this turn I was gonna go for Scalds. I remember as I did, I was like, wait, why did I go for Air Slash, especially since I don't have speed? Now unfortunately some BS happens. He gets a double crit just before I'm able to boost off the damages, and Mantine is gonna go down, which is actually terrible. It's like, that was gonna be so key to taking care of my Milotic. That was gonna be so key to taking care of Dragonite to a minor extent, but now it's gone. So I'm gonna have to figure out a solution here. So anyways, I'm gonna roost right on the Dragonite. I don't know if he's gonna have Fire Punch or Thunder Punch, so I don't think he's gonna be able to take care of me too quickly, and luckily he doesn't. He's gonna only have dual Wing Beat instead, and that's not gonna do any damage to Skarmory. So I'm gonna be able to roost off all the damages right there, and we're gonna be pretty good. And he's also gonna take quite a bit of chip damage. Now, truth be told, unfortunately I don't have any way of hitting him offensively other than with counters, so I was actually hoping he would attack, but he actually has Roost, which you're gonna see is gonna be terrible for me later on in this game. So anyways, he's gonna go for another Roost on the counter. It looks like Whirlwind actually. That's good. So I guess I might have expected him to go for another Dragon Dance or maybe another Roost, trying to take advantage of my counter attempts. And the Ferrothorn is going to come out, which is great because Ferrothorn cannot touch Skarmory, so that's going to be a great opportunity to roost off some of the damages here. And I'm going to have to wait and see what his last Pokemon is, because at this point in the battle I was like thinking, well, I mean, Skarmory is actually looking like a really high value Pokemon now that Darmanitan is down. I mean, Milotic is kind of a problem, but you know, he's going to take a lot of damage from Whirlwind and switching in on the 3 layers of spikes that I set up. Ferrothorn can't touch it, and Dragonite really doesn't want any business for Skarmory if he can avoid it. So Ferrothorn here is going to attack and take some more chip damage. And you'll see earlier at that turn, I think I was like at pretty good HP, but I still went for Roost because I'm really trying to preserve this and ensure that I can retain some good HP. And Melodic unfortunately comes out here. I was actually wishing I had a better Pokemon to capitalize off of this, because I was thinking, well, now he might actually recover, but it looks like he doesn't have recover on the Melodic, which is absolutely awesome, because now I can ensure that he's gonna die the next time he switches in. So that's Melodic out of the picture. And now his last Pokemon is revealed, which is Beedrill. And I get excited here as I realize, well, it looks like actually Skarmory is going to be my key to victory here. Like, I actually thought I was going to lose this once the Mantine went down. So I was like, man, how am I going to deal with the rest of this guy's team? But, you know, now this was definitely a high, because Beedrill can't do anything to Skarmory, even if it wanted to. Because, I mean, Skarmory's typing shuts down the bug type attacks, shuts down the poison type attacks. His coverage options with Drill Run and Brick Break won't touch him, or won't touch Skarmory, because I also had that flying typing. So really, Beedrill is absolutely shut down as long as Skarmory stays alive. So that's why I realized I gotta make sure that whatever happens, Skarmory lives to exist at a comfortable amount of HP, because it's going to be so key to the rest of this battle. And that's one thing you have to do, especially at this level of play. You have to know what your most useful Pokemon are. Like, you shouldn't be making actions based on the current circumstances. You need to be thinking about the future, and you know, that's really important. And you will see, actually, even though I say that, I do actually make a bad mistake. And I was thinking, well, I mean, during this battle I was like, well, but Landorus is actually pretty low HP, and ideally I'd like it at full HP so it can actually come in, intimidate, and pivot out. But you know, there's not really, well, you'd have to find an ideal situation for that to happen, which would have been Ferrothorn in this battle. Although I wasn't really playing too smart, so I didn't really capitalize off of that like I should have. Even though I was hoping to try and find an opportunity at some point down the line. Now, of course, Toxic does exist, but that is literally not that bad. If you can get Landorus to full HP, like, that's a lot more higher value than a status effect. So anyways, now Beedrill is going to come back in. I'm going to fire off another Whirlwind so I can just keep chipping him down, because ideally I want to get to the point where all his Pokemon are dead, so then it'd basically be a 4v1 for the most part. So now Melodic comes in. He's going to go down to the spikes, and that's Melodic out of the picture, which is great, because, you know, that's going to make Skarmory all the more better, since it's no longer going to have to deal with Scald. And that's also going to boost up Landorus to an extent, if I can actually get it to full HP later on in this battle. So anyways, now the opponent is going to have to take his time and figure out what he's going to do against Skarmory, because I think he might have also realized here that, you know, he's kind of cooked. Now, Dragonite technically would have a good stance against this, because he has setup moves, he has Roost, so my counter strategies are definitely gonna leave me a bit vulnerable. But I'm gonna be able to Whirlwind every time he tries to set up his Dragon Dance. And Beedrill's gonna come in here, take some more chip damage from the spikes. So now really one more switch in with Beedrill, and that's out of the picture. And I know for sure that he's not running a recovery move in Beedrill. No one does that. I mean, if he does, I mean, I don't even know if it gets recovery. I'm pretty sure. I mean, actually, I think it does get Roost, but you know, no one does that, because it just doesn't make any sense, because you'd much rather have attacking moves. And really, you're not going to get too many opportunities to heal Beedrill in the battle. And, like, you know, you're probably going to get more value out of U-turning than you would, you know, going for a Roost on something that Beedrill has a favorable matchup on. So anyways, Ferrothorn is going to take some more damage. The good thing about Ferrothorn is that it doesn't normally run recovery. I'm pretty sure it doesn't get any good recovery options either, so, you know, it's basically going to take damage that's almost permanent, other than leftovers. But I don't think leftovers will catch up close to the rate that Whirlwind will switch him out. So yes, now Dragonite's going to come back out, and I was thinking this could be a chance to bring in Landorus if I predict maybe a switch. I actually didn't know, because now this is where I screwed up. I actually brought Ferrothorn too low. I probably should have not gone for Whirlwind there, because I was really thinking at the moment, I was like, well, I do want to get rid of Ferrothorn. That could probably be high value, but actually I probably should have been planning for the future there. So I brought in the Landorus. I'm pretty sure that would have been a free Roost, because Gyro Ball shouldn't KO Landorus after an Intimidate and whatnot. So Ferrothorn is going to come back out here, but unfortunately the spikes will be enough to take it down. And now we're going to go to the longest portion of this video, which is his Dragonite versus my Skarmory. And I'm actually going to have this portion sped up so we don't have to deal with the boringness of this. So anyways, though, my first course of action here was to go into the muck, because I wanted to get as much like chip damage or even a potential poison with poison jab off, so I could, you know, neutralize his Dragonite. So I knew he was gonna probably try setting up. And the good thing is, or the unfortunate thing is for this guy, he was smart and he actually took care of the muck before I could do anything. So that was definitely a smart play, especially if I had like Ice Punch. I'm pretty sure Alolan Muck actually gets access to that. So, you know, that was a good move on his part. So he neutralized a potential threat. But if I got poison on this Dragonite, it would have been really good, because he'd have to deal with the poison damage, he'd have to deal with chip damage from Rocky Helmet, and he'd have to deal with the potential damage he would take from attacking on a counter. And you know, it's too bad I didn't get that off, but I really would have wanted that. And also I had knockoff with Muck, because I was thinking, well, if I could take care of his weakness policy, that might also be helpful. Now I chose poison jab because that was obviously higher value with the chance of poisoning, but you know, that's that. So anyways, we skipped through the majority of this PP style battle. I was really just trying to waste his PP, because I also realized this guy only has about, like, I think it was about 50 PP in total. Dragon Dance has 20, the rest of his moves have 10, whereas I had like about like 70 PP, so I had 20 moves to waste before he would actually run out of his own attacks. And I was trying to minimize counter usage, because I really wanted to save it for when it would count. So I didn't want to burn through all of them and then not really have a way to actually punish him for attacking. So, you know, that's that. But now I got the sense that he was running kind of low, and I was also running low on moves. I didn't have any more boost, so I kind of had no choice but to kind of here and kind of try and, you know, bring this Dragonite as low as possible. So the good thing is right here on the Jewel Wing Bait, I get a nice counter that's going to do some juicy damage right there. Unfortunately though, the next turn is going to roost that off, but you know, that's kind of what we need. And also, if I can force him out of Jewel Wing Beat, then all he'd have left is Earthquake. And you know, Earthquake actually cannot do anything to my Landorus. Now Struggle, on the other hand, will do a lot, especially since he's at +6 and has max speed. But you know, he's going to be taking significant recoil every time he has to rely on that. So anyways, here he's going to attack on the Rocky Helmet. It's actually going to do some really good damage, but you know, that I really wish I countered it that time. So if I did, then yeah, the Dragonite would definitely be screwed, but I didn't. Although I'm kind of banking on the fact that he's going to take enough recoil to where Gallade and Landorus should be able to live him out. Now luckily here he dies on the spot with all the recoil damage, and that's going to mark the game. Definitely a difficult battle right there.